Hi there folks, Night Shift 10,000 back with a new video. As some of you may know, and as some of my subscribers have inquired upon many times, yes, I am technically what you would call a resident of the region known as Cascadia. What is Cascadia, you may be asking? Well, for those who are unfamiliar with what Cascadia is, it's a bioregion in the Pacific Northwest of North America, which is largely made up of parts of Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, parts of Idaho, Northern California, and even parts of Montana. There's been a long debate amongst residents of this region whether Cascadia should be an independent nation or community from the United States and Canada. Which brings me to the topic of this video. I have been a long-time proponent for Cascadian independence, and in this video I'm going to talk about what my ideal vision of Cascadia would look like and how it could achieve its independence from the US and Canada. So, get the picture? Great. Get ready, folks. Here we go. First, let's begin with a little history on the movement. The movement itself actually started back in 1813 when Thomas Jefferson sent congratulatory letters to John Jacob Astor on his establishment of Fort Astoria, where he described Fort Astoria as the germ of a great, free, and independent empire on that side of our continent, and that liberty and self-government spreading from that as well as from this side will ensure their complete establishment over the whole. John Quincy Adams agreed with Jefferson, labeling the Pacific Northwest the Empire of Astor. Popularity for this Northwestern independence continued through the 1800s, but was mostly put on the back burner until the rise of the Californian and Oregonian movement of Jefferson in the 1930s and early 40s.
Do you think it'll be better if we create a state of Jefferson so our young people can't survive? There you go.
When the government fails to serve the people, it is their duty and their responsibility to abolish that government.
The word impossible is not a statement of fact for us, it's a dare.
It's amazing the number of people who are now identifying with the state of Jefferson movement.
Jefferson was never an official government state, but it exists nonetheless. It is an idea and identity for people in Southern Oregon and Northern California who consider themselves residents of the great mythical state of Jefferson.
It's not a place so much as a mindset, an attitude that we do things differently here.
We do fashion ourselves, particularly in the West, as rugged individualists. And at the same time, we really want to belong to something.
For most people, the idea of a state of Jefferson dates back to 1941. Then there were 48 American states, but residents along the Oregon-California border decided to stage what they called a patriotic rebellion to create the 49th state.
They knew that the capital Sacramento and the capital Salem were not giving them proper money for roads, proper money for schools, proper support for a lot of things. And so they said, well, we're going to get the hell out of town and become our own state.
Supporters elected their own governor, set up a capital, and adopted a state seal, a mining pan etched with 2 X's, signifying how they'd been double-crossed by their governments.
They are the ones who came up with the mottos. Our roads aren't passable, they're not even jackassable, and the state flower is anything but a pansy. It was done partly tongue-in-cheek, but also quite seriously.
Could Jefferson have been a real state? Could it still?
But in 1975, popularity for this movement took off when Ernest Callenbach published his book, Ecotopia, which was less a book and more an independence proposal to the people in the region and for the people in the region. Ecotopia more or less defined the Cascadian movement for years to come, as Ecotopia had many breakthrough ideas such as greener and more efficient modes of transportation, healthcare, and even suggested economics for the region that were somewhat laissez-faire, as well as freer and more open social structures for the people of the region. In recent years, though, popularity and advancement for the movement have again mostly been put on the back burner, and is largely being spearheaded now by smaller fringe groups and not the overarching population of the Cascadian region. Which is a shame because the Cascadian movement has enormous potential for greatness and could achieve that greatness if its people were willing to act. Okay, that was the history. This is what my ideal map of Cascadia would look like. So this is what my ideal map of Cascadia would look like. It would be made up of Alaska, the Yukon, British Columbia, Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Yes, it's possible that maybe Montana and possibly Jefferson could get in there, but it almost feels like Jefferson and the Jeffersonian people in Northern California might want to do their own thing and start their own kind of state or community. So, yeah, this is what my ideal map looks like, at least for now. Now, what about Cascadia's independence and internal workings? There's been a lot of debate on just those topics within Cascadia itself. Some Cascadians have suggested that a more collectivist approach might be a good solution for these issues, such as so-called anarcho-communism and syndicalism. However, as the good old Choppy Chaz demonstrated in the last few weeks, this is probably not the best mode of change to go with. I would alternatively suggest an agorist Cascadia where individualism is prized above collective rule. What would an agorist Cascadia look like, you might be asking? Agorism is marked for its arguments on counter-economics, but there is more to the theory than just counter-economic thought. It strongly advocates entrepreneurship amongst individuals and that all or at least most people should engage in entrepreneurship or being independent individual business owners. What this means more broadly is that most of the population would work for themselves on an individual basis. This would mean that everyone would have to deal with each other equally through voluntary interactions, including dealing directly with fellow entrepreneurs. Now, agorism is not opposed to people hiring others if others are willing to work in an employee-employer fashion. That is treated as a neutral thing. However, the theory mainly focuses on individual entrepreneurs dealing with each other and doing business with each other directly, not through subordinate means. Will people ever want to work under others once they've witnessed their own potential and felt the fulfillment and pride of working for themselves and knowing they are the big boss on top and they can make their own rules? And as there would be no government, there would be no room for cronyism and no way for corporations to manipulate the market, much less even form. No one can tell you how to run your business, and you can give what you want to charity if you so choose, with no forced taxations. We can live the way we want to live, and no one can say otherwise unless the rights and lives of others are being harmed. I do believe that Cascadia's independence can happen in real life, and I believe that it should happen through more anarchist actions and social orders, prizing individualism and voluntarism above all. I believe that this is how we will escape the tyranny and oppression of the governments of the United States and Canada, and how Cascadia must organize itself to be successful in this new founding. I'm not saying that this Cascadia that I propose to you in this video will be a perfect place or a utopia, but I believe that this will bring a brighter, better future for everyone involved and for Cascadia itself. I believe in Cascadia. I believe that it deserves a chance to become real and to shine as a beacon for freedom and anarchism to the world. I'm calling on you to believe in this too, and give this vision of a free and individualist Cascadia a chance. If we as Cascadians work together towards this brighter future, we can help Cascadia grow in the Pacific Northwest like a Douglas fir. Well, that's my vision for Cascadia, at least. I hope if you are watching this and you are Cascadian, my words have sparked something within you. Have a wonderful day and stay awesome. Peace out, everyone.
You fill up my senses like a night in the forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses, come fill me again. Come, let me love you, let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter, let me die let me lay down beside you. Let me always be with you. Come, let me love